Today, we are talking about the best of the best. All of my favorite products that I tried in 2023. Hello and welcome if you are new here. My name is Rachel, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. This is gonna be a long one, okay? I tried to narrow it down to like the tip top of my favorites list, but I still somehow have a lot of products in front of me, so I'm gonna try to move quickly. Everything I talk about today, I will link down below in the description box. Everything that is on my face will be in a pinned comment. I'm not gonna talk about eyeshadow palettes in this video. I will do a separate palette ranking video that should be coming next week, ranking all of the palettes that I tried this year. I'm not mentally prepared for that video yet, so I started with everything else, and let's do it. Let's call attention to my shirt because I notice all you can see is "You're a Virgin," so that's probably a little out of context if you don't see the whole thing. You're a virgin who can't drive. If you know what this is from, we can be best friends.
You're a virgin who can't drive.
Even if you don't know what it's from, we can still be best friends. Okay, shut up, Rachel. We need to get going. So, I'm gonna go category by category. I actually only have one skincare item and one primer that I want to talk about today. And I was put on Pacifica's PR list this year, and I've gotten so many products from them. I've basically been using their skincare exclusively this year. Not exclusively, but a lot of my skincare is made up of Pacifica products. This skincare item I wanted to mention, this is the Pacifica Vegan Ceramide Barrier Face Lotion. So this is a daytime lotion for me, and my skin is extremely sensitive. I have very oily, acne-prone skin. So many products break me out, and especially moisturizers. If they're too heavy, they clog my pores. If they're too gel-like, I don't feel like I get any moisturization. And I feel like this is the perfect in-between. Really good, dependable, no scent, sinks into the skin without disappearing. And it's just a really, really nice product. This is my second one. They sent the first one, and actually this is my third one. They sent me one, I bought one, and then they sent me another one. Highly suggest this if you're looking for a mild, kind of moderately moisturizing moisturizer that doesn't clog pores. This is a really good one. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention that is in the primer category is the Pacifica Vegan Collagen Skin Solve Primer. I've gone through one of these. This is my second one that I bought myself. The first one they sent to me in PR. This is a gorgeous hydrating primer. And I love using this when I'm putting my makeup on maybe a little bit later in the day. I've already done my skincare in the morning and I need a little bit of a refresher. I love putting this on my face. I don't put it on my chin area because this is where I break out the most, but I found that if I put it everywhere else, I get a really nice hydrating base that's not greasy, it's very thin, doesn't smell like anything. It's just a really good hydrating primer. I used to claim to not be a primer girl, but this kind of converted me over to the primer side. Like I already said, I have extremely sensitive skin, so I really don't try too many foundations out because A, I don't want to risk it, B, I don't want to spend my money on something that's going to break me out, and C, I have a kind of a rotation of ones that I enjoy that I just kind of go through and use. So I don't even have any foundations to talk about this year. So we're going to gloss on past that, and we're going to go to concealers because I do have a handful of concealers to talk about. So the first one is actually a color corrector. This is the e.l.f. Camo Color Corrector in the shade Peach. This is my second one that I have, and I love this color corrector. I have very dark under eyes. I have like the most beautiful skin, right? Dark under eyes, acne prone. When I was a teenager, I had literally perfect skin, but I've always had dark under eyes, always had dark under eyes. And I find a color corrector does make a huge difference for me personally. Does everybody need a color corrector? Absolutely not. But I have very dark under eyes, and this one does a really good job of canceling out that darkness. And I love the formula of this most of all. So I, for years, used the Becca under eye brightening corrector that came in the pot. I find that that is too emollient and borderline greasy that it kind of manipulated the concealer that I would put on top. This is a liquid formula that dries down to a satin finish, so it provides like just a smooth base for my concealer. Love it. And it's also very affordable, which we gotta love. Okay, I have 3 concealers to talk about, 2 of which I've mentioned before several times, and it's really unfortunate that these two brands have a horrible shade range. But the third brand I'm going to talk about has a much better shade range. So I have the Essence Keep Me Covered concealers. I have to mix 2 shades to make it work. The shades Light Medium and Shell. And this is just a beautiful like high medium / full coverage concealer. I prefer in my concealers a matte finish. I don't like hydrating concealers. I need at least a medium coverage with my under eye circles, so just keep that in mind. But this is a like beautiful satin matte, long wear, high coverage concealer. It's very affordable, but the shade range is god awful. I really wish that they would improve their shade ranges, but this is a concealer that I reach for all the time. It is the concealer I'm wearing on my eyes today. The other concealer that I mentioned it not too long ago that this is my favorite concealer of all time. This is the JOA Perfect Complexion Eye Serum Concealer. It also comes in a horrible shade range. There's not many shades available, but I have the shade LN035. It is just like the most gorgeous medium coverage, very thin formula. It does not move. It looks so skin-like. It doesn't look thick and cakey under the eyes. I wore this on my wedding day. I did get married this year, so a lot of these products that I wore on my wedding day, I'm of course gonna tell you, and that should tell you something, like how much I really love the product. This is a really good concealer. It is available at the drugstore, which makes it very affordable as well, but they need to improve their shade range. But the last concealer I wanna talk about is one that I technically didn't discover it this year. I did use it years and years and years ago when it first came out, and then I got it in PR and I tried it again this year. So I'm including it, okay? It's my video, my rules. And that is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. I have mine in the shade Medium 20. I'm almost never a medium in a concealer, so be aware that the shades run light. But this one works for me. It is, again, kind of what I already described, a medium coverage matte concealer. It's more on the liquidy side, and I just really enjoy this concealer. When I first tried it years ago, I thought it was okay, but now I absolutely love it. I think at the time, I was so stuck on Tarte Shape Tape that I wanted something very full coverage, and this, again, is a little more medium coverage, which I like. And this color works great for me. I've really been using it a lot this year. I don't have any new powders to talk about. Again, I'm a creature of habit when it comes to powders. I stick to like my 2 or 3 powders, and I just use them in rotation. So we're gonna skip over powders. We're gonna go to bronzers. I have 4 bronzers to talk about. The first one is a cream bronzer. This is the bronze sticks from ColourPop. I bought these myself. I bought 2 different shades, La Jolla Cove and Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach is the lightest shade they offer. La Jolla Cove is the second lightest shade that they offer. I really like these bronzer sticks. I think they're a really, really nice formula. I really like both of the colors. I like Laguna Beach more for the winter time, and I like La Jolla Cove more when I have a tan, both of which are neutral toned. La Jolla Cove is a little bit more warm, but it's not orangey or anything like that. And I never, with stick products, I never draw them straight onto my face. I always take a brush, rub it onto the product, and then go onto my face. And if I do that, I find that the blendability is good. I don't like an overly emollient, overly dewy product because, again, I have oily skin, and I feel like this is the perfect in the middle where it's not like so dry that it's hard to blend, but it's not so emollient that it's slipping and sliding. I think they're really, really nice products. They have no shimmer to them, and they're just good. I've really been reaching for them a lot. I have 2 like matte powder bronzers that I want to talk about. The first one is from Sigma, and this is their matte bronzer in the shade Medium. This I've also been reaching for a lot. More in the summertime because this is quite pigmented. Not so pigmented that it's hard to blend out, but I do enjoy this in the summertime for that reason, that I am able to get a little bit more color payoff with this versus the other one I'm going to talk about. I really love the packaging, and this year I tried Sigma for the first time. I bought a whole bunch of products from their website, and this was definitely one of my favorites. It is a true matte bronzer, but it doesn't look dry on the skin. It's just a really, really nice blendable, a little bit more on the powdery side, so there is a little bit more product that comes up onto the brush, but I do like that for the summertime especially. And then the other one that's a little bit more buildable that I would use more now when I don't have a tan is the ColourPop Matte Bronzer in the shade Coconut Beach. This is my perfect shade for a bronzer right now. It is truly a neutral bronzer. This one is definitely pressed harder in the pan like their blushes. So there's not a ton of product that gets kicked up. I do have to work to get it built up, but I actually don't mind that because I love the color so much. And this formula is a matte bronzer, but there is a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit of a sheen-ish to it, a sheen-ish. Just invented that word. This one I did get sent in PR because I used to own 2 different shades, one that was lighter and one that was deeper, and I wanted the one that was in the middle, and they didn't sell it in store at Target. So thank you, ColourPop, for bringing this into my life. And then the last bronzer I want to talk about is by far my most bronzer. The last bronzer that I want to talk about is by far my most used bronzer this year. It is what I'm wearing on my face today, and that is the Give Beauty Pick It Up Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in the shade Toastin'. I really love the packaging. Very Gwen Stefani. I'm a huge No Doubt fan, was as a child. And then here is the product. As you can see in the cream part, there's a giant dip because I reach for this all the time. It is a beautiful formula. I love how compact it is. I think the tone of both of the products is very beautiful. The top one is a little bit more neutral and I would say a little bit olive based. And then the powder bronzer has a little bit of warmth to it without being orange. The cream product is a little more gel-like, so it's not like super thick, super opaque off the bat. And then the powder product is a kind of like a satin bronzer. It's not completely matte, but it's also not shimmery. I love this duo. I've gotten so much use out of it this year. Blushes and highlights took over my life this year. I'm scared. Let's kick it off with the cream blushes first. So I have 1, 2, 3 cream blushes to talk about. 2 of them are kind of similar in my opinion. So the first one is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Cream Blush. I have mine in the shade Bellini. This is a beautiful cream blush. Beautiful, obviously. That's why it's in this video. But if you are looking for a very creamy cream blush, you don't have to sit here and build it up and build it up and build it up. It's pretty pigmented off the bat, but it is so blendable because it's just, obviously it's a cream blush and the word creamy is kind of silly to describe it, but it's just super creamy and really easy to blend, really easy to work with. It is a very beautiful formula and I love this color, this like corally orangey peach. Oh, gorgeous for the summertime in my opinion. I want more shades of this. We'll see. Another cream blush formula that I think is, I don't think it's the same, but I think it's kind of in the same ballpark, is the Sigma cream blush formula. This one I have in the shade Coral Dawn, completely different in terms of the shade. This is the blush that I'm wearing on my face today. It is just a really pretty peachy pink, and it is, again, pretty emollient, easy to build up, but not like so buildable that you gotta sit there and build it up and build it up and build it up. It's just like that perfect pigmentation level in the middle. It gives a really pretty, you know, like satin look to the face. It's not dry matte, it's not super dewy, it's right in the middle, which I really love. Another formula I would love to get more shades in, again, with the magnetic packaging, so satisfying. Really love this product. And then a product that I discovered technically at the very end of last year that I did not include in last year's favorites, if that makes sense. So I'm putting it into this one. And this is a formula that I think I've heard a lot of bad things about from other people, but I quite like it. This is the About Face Cheek Freak Blush Balm. I have mine in the shade Raunchy. I love the Polly Pocket packaging. It kind of does feel a little cheap, but it's pulling at this nostalgia strings in my brain. And on the inside, we have this. Now, I love the color. That is something about this that is really special to me, is this warm, burnt orangey color. This is definitely more of a buildable formula. If you want something that's not very pigmented and you want to be able to control the pigment level, you want just a wash of color, this is going to be more for you. It's definitely not as pigmented as these two, but sometimes I like that. Listen, I like variety. Sometimes I want a pigmented blush, sometimes I want a buildable blush. And this is called a blush balm. So that also gives you kind of the thought of it's not super pigmented. And I think it's really pretty and it gives a little bit more of a, not glossy look, but a little bit more of a hydrated look to the face. I think it's beautiful. I've really been enjoying it a lot on the days where I don't want an overly blushy cheek. All right, let's talk about the powder blushes that I have. Here we go. So first of all, I was also put on ColourPop's PR list this year, which that was a moment. That was a moment when I got the email from them. I was crying. I was actually on my honeymoon. It was amazing. It was just an amazing week all around, obviously. But there were a couple of blushes that they sent to me that just stuck with me, that I've really been reaching for a lot. So the first one is in the Wish You Were Here collection. They came out for the first time, at least to my knowledge, with their pearlized pressed powder blush formula, which is their glowy blush formula. And in particular, the one shade that I've been reaching for a lot is the shade Wish Me Luck. And it is just like a peachy pink with a slight gold sort of reflect to it. It reminds me a lot of Milani Luminoso, but I like this version more than Milani. I feel like the Milani one doesn't have a super strong base, at least the old version. I like had the old version. As far as I know, they may have reformulated it, but I like this way more. The thing with me is I don't love a overly glowy blush, or I'm actually starting to warm to the idea of a glowy blush. This has kind of been my gateway to it. I like a glowy blush that has a strong base color. I don't want something that looks like a highlighter. So this has enough pigment that it looks like a blush on my cheeks while giving that sheen, that shine. It's beautiful. And I love this color. Like, I love a warm blush. It's gorgeous. This collection had 4 blushes, but this is the one in particular I've been getting the most use out of. And then on the other side of the coin, their pressed powder blush formula that's matte. I have owned several of them in the past, and I like the formula. I find some of them to be very hard pressed in the pan, so they are more that buildable formula, but I feel like the ones they've come out with this year have been a little bit more pigmented. So I have a few in front of me that I want to talk about, particular shades that I'm getting the most use out of. This first one I did get in PR from the 1111 collection. This is in the shade Claim It. Again, a warm, kind of peachy, a little bit more of a, not as bright of a color. It is beautiful. Definitely more on the pigmented side, but not overly pigmented. It's not patchy, but this is a true matte blush. There's no sheen to it at all, which I love at times. And I just love this color. I love the formula. I think they've improved, in my opinion, like, I think they've improved their blush formula since a couple of years ago. It's a beautiful one. In this collection, they came out with one that was lighter, which I could not get to show up on my skin tone. It was very, very light, which I actually think is good. It's a good option if you have very fair skin. And then there was one that came out that was deeper than this, that was just a little too pigmented for my skin tone, but this particular shade, Claim It, I love. And then the other 2 ColourPop blushes that I've discovered this year that I honestly love, like I think they're so beautiful and unique in my collection, are the 2 from the Alice in Wonderland collection. So the first one is in the shade Oh Dear, which the packaging on this entire collection was so adorable. It is this beautiful kind of, you know, viral, true pink, baby pink blush. But this one doesn't have an overly white base where it looks kind of funny on my skin tone. It is just a beautiful pink color, and it's cool toned, but I don't feel like it's too cool toned that it's, I don't know, it leans more towards neutral while still being cool toned, if that makes any sense at all. Probably not. But again, everything I said about this blush, where it's a little bit more pigmented, but not overly pigmented, you're able to build it up, sheer it out. It's just a gorgeous pink blush that I, again, have been getting a lot of use out of. And these 2 blushes are probably my favorite thing from the Alice in Wonderland collection. And then this blush surprised me a lot, because when I first saw it, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm scared. But when I used it and like looking back at myself on the footage of the videos where I was wearing it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So this is in the shade Silence with the Queen of Hearts on the front, and it is this red blush. Oh my goodness. A red blush seems scary, but when I tell you how beautiful this looks on my cheeks, it just like makes my face so bright and like full of life and like youthful. It's gorgeous. This one is definitely very pigmented, so I have to be very careful with applying it, but if I get it right, it looks beautiful. Another single powder blush that I discovered this year that I've gotten a lot of use out of, that I think is very unique in my collection, is the Strawberry Shortcake blush from Glamlite. And this one is a little bit more cool toned. It's a little bit almost leaning purple, but this is beautiful for the right look when I want this type of color. It's gorgeous. It is giving me the same kind of vibe as the ColourPop blushes, where it's good amount of pigment. It's not overly pigmented, but it's not so sheer. You can build it up. It's blendable, but the color is really what makes it for me. It's just this viral like cool tone pink blush that we saw everywhere this year, and I love it. And I love that her face is pressed into the pan. I think it's so cute. This whole collection I really enjoyed. Another powder blush that I actually got in PR is from Makeup Revolution, and this is the Revolution Blusher Reloaded in the shade Rose Kiss. I've fully been enjoying this blush when I want more of a berry toned blush, but this one is not overly pigmented. I'm able to use this and not have to be like overly cautious, which it looks like in the pan it would be a little bit harder to use on my skin tone. But it's so beautiful for a berry blush that's not overly pigmented. The formula is super silky smooth, and it ends up looking really beautiful on the cheeks. A matte blush that's not flat matte. It's gorgeous. I love it. Then I have this duo from Give Beauty. This is the Feel and Cheeky Amplifying Blush Duo in the shade Flirty Talk. Again, love the packaging. And then on the inside, we have this beautiful orange coral blush. Now, it definitely is a little bit looking more coral in person. On the website, it looked a little more orange. So I was a little confused by that when I got it in, but I really love this duo. This one for me is not super pigmented. It is a little bit more of a sheer wash of color, which I think with an orange coral blush is helpful. You are able to kind of control how much you want on the face. And these ones are definitely more of that sheeny blush without being chunky or sparkly. They're just really smooth, really lightweight, and just beautiful. So I've been enjoying this as well. I have two face palettes that I want to talk about. The first one is from Blend Bunny. So this is the Bare Cheeks face palette. To me, it's a blush palette. Like, that's how I use these as blushes. I did buy both of these blush palettes, but this one in particular, I've been getting more use out of than the other one. The other one has much brighter shades, a little bit more like poppy shades, and this one is a little bit more muted. And I wore this on my wedding day. I mixed these two blushes up here together, and these two are my favorite in the entire palette. Like, if she would sell these as a duo or singles or something, I would definitely fully suggest it, because I mix these together and just get this really beautiful like peachy pink color, which you get, that's like my vibe, peachy pink. These are true matte blushes. They're a little bit more on the pigmented side, and they are really beautiful. So love especially these two blushes. And then the last face palette that I want to talk about is the one from Lunar Beauty in Laura Lee, Los Angeles. This is the Full Fantasy face. Well, it's called Blush, but it does also have highlighters in it. Packaging, 20 out of 10. So beautiful with the raised elements like Lunar Beauty usually does. And these blushes are gorgeous. They blend like a dream. I love the different variety of tones that you're getting here, all very different, but they also work together if you want to mix them. They are a matte blush that's not flat matte. And then the two highlighters here are gorgeous, super wet looking. They are almost like putty-like, so sometimes if I want a little more impact, I apply them with my fingers, or I can use a brush if I want a little bit more of a softer application. Both of these look like they might be too deep for my skin tone, but actually they work great. So love that when all of the products in a face palette work out for me. I love that. All right, highlighters, listen. I have so many. Let's just get to it. Okay, first off, I want to talk about the What's Up Beauty Serengeti highlighters. These came out this year, and I think they're so beautiful, so luxurious. The packaging, beautiful. And then on the inside, we have these gorgeous embossing on the pan. It's almost like I don't even want to use it. It's so beautiful. I have the shade Wild Acacia, which is the one I'm using a little bit more because it is a little bit lighter. And then I have the shade Safari Sunset, which is still pretty light, if I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I definitely can wear this and make it work, but it's a pink and almost like a rose gold, and this one is a pink with a white. Like I said, the packaging and the embossing are beautiful, but I really love the effect this has on the skin. For me personally, I feel like they're pretty bright. Like, you can make them very blingy, but they're ultra smooth. There's no chunky sparkles to them. They are just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. These would be like a really pretty event. Like, if you're going to an event and you want to be glam and you want that really booming shine on your cheek, but it's still sophisticated, these would be a go-to. These would be a go-to. Really beautiful. This, I also got in PR from Makeup Revolution, the highlighter reloaded in Just My Type. And this is giving me the same vibe as the blush that I talked about from this same collection. But this is a little bit more of a buildable highlighter, a lit from within glow. super smooth, super beautiful. If you don't want an ultra blingy highlight, this would be a great one for you. I kind of love the texture in the pan. It's kind of satisfying. And this shade, Just My Type, is perfect for me and for my skin tone. So highly suggest this one as an affordable highlighter, but it's good not just for the price too. I have another Sigma product. This is the highlighter in the shade Sizzle, and this color is unique. It's a little bit more of like a rose gold, like a light rose gold, but oh my goodness. Super silky smooth, not chunky, not glittery, just ultra wet looking. It's giving me the same vibe as the What's Up Beauty, but this tone is different, that it is a rose gold. Reaching for this a lot. It's beautiful. This comes in several other colors as well. And again, the packaging, magnetic closure, love that. I have 3 highlighters from Game Beauty that I want to talk about. So first one I bought is in the shade Geo. It is just a beautiful yellow gold, which is so unique and beautiful in my collection. This is starting to veer into the slightly sparkly side of highlighters. It's not overly sparkly, but you definitely can see a little bit of sparkle in there. And then they sent me these 2 in PR, which I love a colorful highlighter. That is something I've been getting into this year a lot more. So we have the shade Pyro, which is like a reddish pink. You can't really see it here, but hopefully I'm popping up some swatches that you can see. I love a reddish pink highlighter because I feel like it just blends right into my blush. It's beautiful. And then I have the shade Cryo, which is a blue. I've been also getting into blue highlighters. Beautiful, beautiful. And I like how small and compact they are. They're really cute. Speaking of colorful highlighters, my favorite colorful highlighter palette that came out this year is the Rick and Morty highlighter trio. This is very sparkly, okay? It's very sparkly, but gosh dang it, is it just beautiful. This one especially, Uncharted, is a blue that is, you can see it from space. I actually tapped this onto an eye look that I was doing when I didn't feel like my eye look was sparkly enough. This made it pop in. So I love that. And then these 2 here are also colorful highlighters that aren't as bright, aren't as sparkly as this one, but still bright and sparkly. I love having this little trio. It's beautiful, but it's sparkly. So if you don't like a sparkly highlighter, I would not suggest it. And then the last 2 highlighters are from Unearthly Cosmetics, and I would say these 2 are my most used highlighters this year. So the first one is the Resurgence highlighter duo from Heather Austin and Unearthly. And in particular, the shade Rebirth over here is the shade I've been using the most. And it is what I'm wearing on my face today. It is just a beautiful, very unique highlighter. It's hard to explain. It is sparkly without being like textured or like glittery, while still looking shiny and smooth. It has a pink reflect to it, which I already said I love having a pink reflect because it blends in with the blush. It is subtle, but also at the same time, bright. It's beautiful. This one is pretty too, Renewal. I just haven't dipped into this one as much just because it's a little deeper, but very beautiful job, Heather. You did very well with it. This highlighter has changed my life. I'm being dramatic. It's just a highlighter. This is the Unearthly Cosmetics Low Light Highlighter Single in the shade Spellbinding. I went and ordered all the rest of them like a couple weeks ago because of how much I love this one. It is a multi-chrome highlighter that is colorful, but it's not glittery. It looks so smooth, but it has a little reflect. It has the most beautiful shift, like a pinky orangey warm shift that just blends into my blush perfectly. Every time I put it on, I literally go, oh, like I make that noise every single time I put it on. Something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. But it's beautiful. If you've been thinking about it and you like everything I just said, I wouldn't tell you no. I wouldn't tell you not to get it. All right, I have a few eye products to talk about really quickly before we get to the lips because the lip category is also outrageous. I have a problem. So the first thing I want to talk about is something I've talked about a lot, and this is the Unearthly Cosmetics Liquid Liner Pen. It is, in my opinion, a dupe for the KVD Tattoo Liner. It performs the same. It looks the same. The ease of use is the same. The longevity is the same. The only difference is the packaging. The Unearthly one is a little bit lighter, like in terms of weight. The KVD one is a little bit heavier, but this one is also a third of the price of the KVD one. Just saying. I love me a black liquid liner. I use a black liquid liner, or I should say I use a liquid liner every single time I do my eye makeup. Every time. Even if it's just to line my lash line before putting on lashes. And it is just ultra smooth. It is a brush tip, so it's very easy to use. It's not like stiff or tuggy. It glides on really easily. It dries down matte. It does not move. But it's also not hard to remove at the end of the day. I love this eyeliner pen. As long as she is selling it, I'm going to continue to purchase this over the KVD. And I wore the KVD exclusively for years. Thank you, Amanda, for creating this pen. I hope you never discontinue it. And if you do, you need to let me know so I can buy like 800 of them. I tried 2 new mascaras this year that I really actually enjoy. And I'm not a mascara girly. Like, my lashes are sad. They grow straight down. Most mascaras do absolutely nothing for me. And let's be honest, 90% of the time when I do my makeup, I wear false lashes. So I don't need a mascara to perform miracles. But I will say these 2 mascaras, they made me feel comfortable enough to go without false lashes. Like, I felt like, oh, I can kind of see my lashes. I'm setting the bar low, but they're good mascaras is what I'm trying to say. So the first one I actually have in my possession. The other one I used up and it's gone. But this is the Buxom. It just says on here, the Lash Mascara. How descriptive. In the shade Blackest Black. I did get this in PR. I think this mascara is great. It's great. My preferences have changed for mascara over the year, I guess I would say. I used to want ultra volume, thick lashes, but I don't like an overly thick, clumpy look anymore. I want something that coats through my lashes, gives me a little bit of volume, but also length and curl. The number one thing I need is curl because, like I said, my lashes grow straight down. And when I first opened this, I did use this in a testing new makeup video, I think, and I opened it and I was like, whoa, that is a giant, giant applicator. But you know what? It works. It has an hourglass shape, which I feel helps with the curling of the lashes. There's not a ton of product that comes out on the wand at once, so it's not like gloopy or anything. And it has plasticky plasticky bristles, which I prefer in a mascara wand. I really been enjoying this a lot. And then the other mascara that I don't have anymore, but I did use it up, obviously, is the Benefit Fan Fest mascara. I really enjoyed this one. This one is a very curved applicator, so it's really, really good for pushing up the lashes, and it gives the same kind of look to the lashes that I already described with the Buxom. A little bit of volume, length, and curl. It's not gloopy. It's not making all my lashes stick together and making it look like I have 3 big lashes. It's a really nice mascara. I will repurchase it once I'm done with this, maybe this one or the Benefit, depending on which one's on sale, but highly suggest it. All right, let's talk lip products. Here we go. Let's start with lip glosses. So the first one I want to mention is also from the Unearthly Cosmetics and Heather Austin Resurgence collection, which I did receive in PR. I don't think I said that, but this is the gloss in the shade Omen. If you've used Unearthly glosses before, you'll know that they are very balmy. They're not sticky, not gloopy. They're very balmy on the lips. They almost feel like a lip balm. They're very comfortable. And I love a sparkly gloss. Love a sparkly gloss. So this one is giving icy sparkles. It doesn't make your lips look white or silver, but it just makes your lips look ultra juicy and full. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I've really been getting a lot of use out of it. Something that's pretty similar, and actually it's a lip kit that I am wearing on my lips today, is one from the Sailor Moon collection from ColourPop, which I also received in PR. This lip kit is what my dreams are made of. So the liquid lipstick, it's the Ultra Blotted Lip in the shade Sailor Fuku, and the gloss is in the shade Pretty Guardian. So the Pretty Guardian gloss is kind of similar to the Heather Austin, but the Ultra Glossy Lip from ColourPop is definitely more of a glossy, wet, not sticky, but much more liquidy feeling. And then the Ultra Blotted Lip, I actually really enjoy. This is the first year that I tried the Ultra Blotted Lip. It is a liquid lipstick that's not super opaque. It is a little bit more of a wash of color. And I think the secret to this is less is more. If I like pile this on my lips, it does feel a little drying, but if I put a little bit of product, it dries down completely without drying my lips out. And especially if I put a gloss on top, there's no drying out for me. So this lip kit in particular from the collection, so good. I know I said I was talking about glosses, but now I'm on the subject of the Ultra Blotted lip. So there was one other Ultra Blotted lip that I wanted to talk about that I loved. This is in the shade Jet Setter, and this is definitely more of like a warm nude. Come on, like this is so beautiful. The one from the Sailor Moon collection is definitely lighter and a little bit more pink. This is Sailor Fuku and this is Jet Setter. Both beautiful, like beautiful nudes for me. Back to the glosses. The Ultra Glossy Lip from ColourPop in the shade It Girl. Getting so much use out of this. Absolutely beautiful. It is very reminiscent, I'm not gonna say a dupe, but it's very reminiscent of the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fenty Glow, which is my favorite gloss of all time, which I literally cannot find mine anywhere. So I'm happy to have this because it's a good alternative, let's put it that way. The effect on the lips looks very similar. It's not as thick as the Fenty Gloss Bomb. Like the Fenty Gloss Bomb is not thick in a sticky way, but it's very coating of the lips. This one's a little thinner, a little bit more liquidy, like I said, but a beautiful gloss. And then the other Unearthly Cosmetics lip gloss that I've been getting so much use out of this year is in the shade Drizzle. I love the smell of the Unearthly gloss formula, or their lip formula in general. It's like a very light, sweet scent. And this is just a beautiful warm nude. It's a balmy formula, and as you can see, it's quite pigmented of a formula. I've been reaching for this one a lot when I want like a very light nude lip. An overall lip product line that I want to shout out is the collaboration that Odin's-Eye and my friend Angelica Nyqvist did. All of the lip products in this collection are beautiful. So the actual packaging of everything is so pretty with this ombre. It was the Halloween collection, so it was a Halloween inspired collection, which you know is right up my alley. I love that. In the collection, there were 3 glosses and 2 matte lips. The 3 glosses had 2 different formulas, the Shine formula and the Glow formula. So the Shine formula is kind of like the Unearthly, where it's a creamy gloss without sparkle and a little bit more on the pigmented side. And then the Glow is a little bit more sheer with a very light sparkle to it. And then the 2 matte lips in this are definitely more of a velvety, moussey matte lip formula. So it's not straight liquid that's going to dry your lips out. But these 2 colors, Swamp Fog and Shadow Creature, are beautiful, and beautiful for fall in my opinion. Just very unique, kind of deeper vampy colors for me personally, for my skin tone. Beautiful lip products. Then I want to get to like the glowy lips. So kind of like the thin tube lipsticks. So I was sent in PR, which I was so thankful for, from Ravi Beauty, which is the brand from Ellie Glines, the YouTuber here. She created some beautiful lip products called the Effortless Lips collection. And she released 3 different shades: Lily, Dahlia, and Tulip. And this formula is so unique in the sense that it is a slim lip product that is truly, like it says, effortless. You do get a wash of color, but you can build it up. It's not like overly glossy, but it's not matte either. It gives a really pretty, like, balmy shine to the lips with a beautiful color, either tint, or you can build it up to make it a little more opaque. It's just a really, in my opinion, pretty unique formula. I feel a lot of products like this are either just like glosses in a stick form or they're matte. So it's just a beautiful in-between. My favorite color in particular is the shade Lily, I will have to say, which is like the more warm-leaning nude, but all 3 colors are absolutely beautiful. We have the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump. Okay, we all tried this year. This year, right, is when this came out? I'm pretty sure. This year has felt like the longest year in the world and simultaneously the shortest year in the world. Anybody with me on that one? But I know I tried this for the first time this year. I have mine in the shade Peachy Beige. This is as good as everybody says it is. It is a gloss in a stick format, in my opinion, where it's super emollient, very glossy. It's a lip plumper, but it's not burning. It's more of just like a cooling sensation. And I love the shade Peachy Beige. Again, it's light, warm nude, and the smell is really nice. A little bit more subtle of a scent, but really nice. I have a couple of liquid lipsticks to talk about. I'm not really a big liquid lipstick fan generally, but these 2 are good. So Unearthly Cosmetics, I think that they make a really good liquid lipstick formula. They have satin liquid lipsticks, which don't dry down all the way, but they are more comfortable on the lips. And this is in the shade Dreamy. This is a beautiful, really light nude that is so beautiful. Super opaque, super like one swipe. And this color is just everything. Like I reach for this color all the time. Sometimes I top it with a gloss, sometimes I don't. It's a very comfortable formula. I think this was in a mystery box. I'm pretty sure it's not available anymore, unfortunately. And then the other liquid lipstick that I love is from Lunar Beauty. This is the Sailor liquid lipstick, and this came in the Siren Sunset collection. Oh my gosh. This one is a little bit more liquidy, but it doesn't dry down all the way. And the smell of Lunar Beauty's lip products, it smells like buttercream frosting. So this is Sailor. It's definitely deeper and more cool toned, but I just think it looks so pretty on the lips. So pretty. I'm so glad I decided to pick it up. I would say one of my favorite lip oils that I discovered this year is from Blend Bunny. So she's come out with several of these. I've actually used up 2 of them completely, which says a lot for me because I have a lot of lip products in my collection. One I would keep next to my bed, one I would keep in my car and just reapply them whenever I felt like I needed to. So really enjoying this formula. I will say I didn't love this at first. It takes a little bit of breaking in, if you will, to get the lip oil to completely saturate the applicator so you don't have to keep dipping in like 5 times. It takes some time, but once it gets there, the actual formula of the lip oil is really nice. It's that medium weight, a little bit more glossy, just beautiful. And they have like scents to them. This one is like a slightly fruity scent. Oh, it smells so good. This one is in the shade Juicy. Really enjoying these formulas. I don't know if I mentioned last year. I'm gonna mention it here because I feel like I didn't mention last year. It's hard to remember when I tried this formula, but I don't have it because I used it up. My favorite lip oil formula is from Fenty Beauty, and it is their Cherry Lip Oil. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. It's my perfect lip oil. The texture is thick. It coats your lips like a glazed donut. It smells divine like Luden's Cherry Cough Drops. If you know, you know. Like cherry candy. It gives a slight like reddish tint to the lips. It feels nourishing. Like a lot of lip oils don't feel nourishing. It feels nourishing, and it is so expensive and tiny. That's my only complaint. Like we need a double size. It's beautiful. The last lip products I want to talk about are the lip liners from Unearthly Cosmetics. I did receive all of these in PR. I think the thing that's the most unique about these are the colors that are offered. The colors are just so unique, and I appreciate that she came out with a line of lip liners that's not just all like nudie pinks. Although obviously I wear nude lips most of the time. If I want a certain deeper vampy color, these are the lip liners I'm gonna reach for. There's a black, there's like a deep purple, there's some more brown shades, there's a red. Just the most unique, beautiful colors that you don't see offered with most other brands. The other thing is these are very affordable and they're ginormous. Like there's a lot of pencil here, and the formula is very creamy in my opinion, but it's long lasting. So I love that. And it's an actual pencil that you sharpen, which a lot of pencil lip liners in my opinion feel very, very dry and are hard to line the lips with, but these ones are not hard at all. All right, and then the last thing I wanna talk about is a couple of brush sets that I got this year that I love. Obviously, that's where they're going in this video. Angelica Nyqvist launched her very own beauty brand this year called Singe Beauty, and she did have 2 releases this year, both of which were brush sets, and also her second release, she launched a sponge and a powder puff as well. I have all of the brushes. I don't have the sponge or the powder puff. I am gonna order them when I get back from my vacation, but the brushes are phenomenal. They are synthetic hair brushes that are meant to mimic natural hair brushes, so they are ultra soft. She has some beautiful shapes in her lineup, but I wanted to highlight 3 of my absolute favorites. I love all of them, but these are the ones that I really am reaching for all the time. So the first one was part of her first launch of her eye brush set. This is the E03, and for me, This is a perfect crease blending brush for my transition shade. It's fluffy enough to be able to sheer out the color, but it has a slight taper to the top, so it really gets in the crook of my eye. It's a beautiful brush. I bought 2 sets of these initial brushes because I wanted backups of this brush in particular. And when she starts releasing them in singles, I'm buying another one. And then this brush, this eye brush, was with her second launch, the one that just launched recently. This is the E06. And this is another blending brush, but it's shaped a little differently. It's pinched this way. So for me, perfect for my outer corner when I want to pack on a shadow and use the same brush to blend it out as well. So it's a little more densely packed. It's just a beautiful like outer corner blending brush for me personally, but the other eye brushes in her collection are a lot smaller brushes if you are looking for more detailed brushes. And then this came out with her face brush set. This is the F07, and it is a perfect highlighter brush for me. It is in between a dense brush and a fluffy brush because I have highlighter brushes that are really fluffy, that when I use them to apply my highlighter, it floofs the product everywhere. And then I also have highlighter brushes that are just a little too dense, where it's a little bit more of like a stripe sort of situation. This is perfectly in between. The shape of it is, again, a little more tapered at the top, a perfect density to like kind of airbrush the highlighter onto my cheek while still not floofing the product everywhere. So all of the brushes from Singe Beauty are absolutely beautiful. They are really, really beautiful. And congratulations, Angelica, for launching your very own brand this year. Another brush brand that I tried for the first time this year, which again, this feels like I tried them last year, but apparently it was this year, is BK Beauty. They did send me a set of brushes, and then I also purchased some on my own afterwards. I have 3 brushes to talk about. This one was from the original set that they sent me. This is the 106 brush, and it is marketed as a foundation brush, but I don't really use foundation brushes. Most of the time, I blend my foundations out with a sponge, and this one is a little small for my preference for foundation, but I love using this for cream bronzer because it is densely packed, but not too densely packed. It really does blend my cream bronzer in a really nice way. It's not too small for that area on my face. I can get the job done, you know, within a timely manner. And it's just a really nice brush. I mean, BK Beauty brushes are very good quality. Another brush that I really enjoy is the 109. This one I did purchase myself, and it is meant to mimic their foundation brush, but in a lot smaller of a form. And again, I really enjoy this for cream bronzer and also cream blush. It has like this slanted sort of shape to it, so it just fits the cheek area really nicely. And then I love the A506. This was in collaboration with Angie Hot and Flashy, the first collaboration that they did. It is an absolutely beautiful concealer brush. I don't use brushes often to blend out my concealer, but when I use this, I always wonder why I don't use a brush more often, because it is the most perfect shape, density. It just blends out the concealer so beautifully without losing coverage. And it's called the Kitten Paw, which I think is so cute because it is like soft like a kitten paw. Really great brushes from the brand. All right, and that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. These were the best products that I tried in 2023. I hope I'm not missing anything, but yeah, I mean, I tried a lot of good stuff this year. If you want to see the worst products that I tried this year, that is already live on my channel. I will link it down below in the description box. And let me know in the comments, what are some of your favorite products that you've tried this year? I would really love to know because I love hearing from you. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot when you do that. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing before you leave. I do upload videos weekly, and I'd love to see you back on my channel again. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.